Welcome to Diamonds and Hashmarks, Spooky Edition. No, for real. It's great to be with you. Excited to do this. Figure out my lighting issue
Yeah, me too.
momentarily.
Now
All
I
right.
got- now I gotta be tight.
I know that was a great intro, though.
Yeah, it was a
Honestly,
great intro.
it's a traditional Monday. We got football coming to you first.
Yep.
Haven't messed that up in a while. We got baseball coming to you second. World Series is in full swing. Middle of the year football season. Basketball's getting started, but we're not going to touch that because,
Yeah.
as I've already said, Diamonds and Hashmarks. That's another DNH episode coming to you. I am the host and producer, Alex Pichardo.
And I'm the co-host, Peyton Pichardo. You dig?
Attaboy, that's 2 episodes in a row now. You haven't missed your cue. I'm proud of you.
I'm on fire right
I
now.
know. One more and you can call that a winning streak.
Yo.
Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you're listening to us there, hit us up with a 5-star review. If you think we deserve it. If you don't, please don't lie. That's bad. Nestpod or What's Up Doc. Those are 2 podcasts that we regularly interact with. If you want more content, you want to listen to more than just football and baseball. If you want to listen primarily to football, I suggest go finding Nestpod. Nest.pod, you can find that most anywhere. If you want a broad range of sports, I recommend you go listen to What's Up Doc. Those are our buddies over there at both of those. We love having them on the show. They love having us on. We love plugging them. They love plugging us. So go check them out. Helps the algorithm kind of figure out who to recommend us to next. When you listen to them, hit us up with a 5-star review. Check us out on Twitter, Diamond Hashmark. There is no S. Diamonds and Hashmarks on YouTube, Instagram. Throw an @gmail.com on the end of that, and you can reach us there for all business inquiries, or if you just have a lot on your mind and you want to let us know what you think about what we think, you can hit us up there. That was a busy weekend. There was a lot going on.
It was. Agreed.
Really, from Friday when the World Series started up until the end of the 4:00 games, because Chargers Bears, who cares? There was a lot happening. It was a lot of fun watching as much as I could without going overboard with as much as I was watching. Hey, have you worn the Bass Pro hat on the show before?
This might be. I've worn it backwards, I think, but I have 2 Bass Pro hats. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have 2.
You love Bass Pro that much, or?
It's a style thing. I think it's a new thing that these kids are doing nowadays. So.
Really? So you don't fit in with the kids? You're saying these kids now?
These kids now? Yeah, I guess I'm that old enough where it's.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
Are you gonna yell "Get off my lawn" anytime soon?
Dude, if I get some glasses and like whiskey at hand, maybe, but I don't even know.
Yeah, get a little walking cane. You could totally pull it off, Peyton.
I don't see why not.
You're simultaneously 21 and 58, I think. You're a nice blend of those 2 ages.
I got the fleece tracksuit jacket on. Yeah, I can totally see that.
Yeah, you think a windbreaker does something. That's how old you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, as we always do, let's go ahead, get into it chronologically. As I would love to start with baseball, we're saving that for the second part of the show today. So let's start chronologically with football specifically. Florida, Georgia. That's really the first game that I paid attention to, first game that I watched. Oh, hold on, wait. Let's go ahead and say something about Penn State versus Indiana. That was a game that I did not expect to be as close as it was for as long as it was. And I don't think Penn State is as good as everybody makes him out to be. Do you have any other thoughts on that game other than that?
Yeah. No, like you were saying, it was close. I think the only thing that's credible for Penn State is their head coach, James Franklin. And he's brought them from nothing to something. But even then.
Yeah, they struggle against AP top 15 teams. Ohio
State.
What do they have?
Week.
1 win? Yeah. They haven't beaten them often since he's been the head coach there.
Yeah.
I guess chronologically that means we also have to talk about Kansas and Oklahoma first.
Yeah. Let's talk about
because that was a noontime game, happened before Florida, Georgia. Although it did take longer than a traditional football game because there was a rain delay in the middle of it. Did you know that football games have rain delays? Because I didn't. I know that baseball has rain delays, but I figured football almost pushed through that and played through snow, played through. Delays. Yeah. Well, every place should be. willing to have a lightning delay.
Yeah,
But yeah, I thought that was a little weird that I hadn't necessarily seen that before or had to wait through one to see what the end result was. But let's go ahead and start there. Kansas versus Oklahoma, actually,
yeah.
if you don't mind. So uh, I'm shocked. I thought Texas was good. I thought we watched Oklahoma go in to the Red River rivalry game and handle a big time opponent in Texas. And I
Mm,
thought Oklahoma was rightly ranked at like number 6, number 5, I think, even at one point. Could be wrong there. But unranked Kansas got the job done against them.
they did.
And that was a fun game to watch because part of me wants to see the good teams do well, wants to see Oklahoma do well. The other
Mm,
part of me was rooting for the underdog the entire time. I wanted Kansas to win from the time that game started.
yeah.
Not saying that I'm bandwagoning onto Kansas and I think Kansas is one of the best programs ever. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I was rooting for Kansas and they got it done. Did you see anything specifically in that game that went wrong for Oklahoma, or do you have any post-game thoughts about what this means for Oklahoma going forward?
Post game thoughts. What this means for Oklahoma? I don't think we see him in the college football playoff. But
Yeah,
I
they
think
got
there's
no
enough.
shot now.
There's enough team. Yeah, they have no shots, but I think there's enough teams now to where it's like to where there's teams and teams that fit the roles now. Like I think Washington's going to make it. I think like the unbeaten teams, right? So like this is the first time Oklahoma's lost, obviously, and
Not against a great opponent. Like that's a bad
yeah,
loss for them. The college football playoff ranking comes out tomorrow. That's the
yeah,
first time that we see those rankings.
mhm,
And Oklahoma managed to weasel past their toughest opponent, supposedly at the beginning of the year, in
yeah,
Texas. So the only thing standing in their way of making it was a rematch against Texas in the Big 12 title game.
mhm,
But then they went and lost against Kansas,
yeah.
which, hey, to Kansas's credit, great job. You did what you needed to do one given day. And you spoiled the rest of the year for Oklahoma.
There were no passing touchdowns this game. I'm looking now, and the final score was 33-38. So you know what that tells me? That's just defense and rushing, because
Mm-hmm.
each team had one rushing touchdown. And I'm trying to see if anything happened on defense. So yeah, there was an interception on defense for them, but like 33-38 is crazy for like
Yeah.
no passing touchdowns. There's just a
That's
defensive minded game.
high scoring anyway, let
Yeah,
alone the fact that there were no passing touchdowns. So let's go ahead, move on. I think this show can kind of agree. Oklahoma is cooked. They're done for the year. I think we are going to see a one-loss team, possibly 2 one-loss teams, make it into the college football playoff.
yeah.
But it's not going to be Oklahoma, provided that they finish the year strong. Florida, Georgia. Let's go ahead and start talking about that. Uh, let's start by talking about the game. Then we'll move into me responding to some people in the comment section. Let's start. 43-20 was the final score. Ugly loss for the University of Florida. I think I said on the show, if I didn't say it on the show, I said it to numerous people outside of the show. Hey, here's how I think it goes. Florida wins a close game or loses by 30. That's kind of what I envisioned. We either win close because Georgia starts off slow and we try to give the game away like we did against Tennessee, or we stand no shot from the beginning. And it was kind of a mix of the two. It looked like Georgia kind of started off a little slow, especially on the defensive side of the ball, kind of letting Florida march down the field against them. But then very quickly, that slow start was over and Georgia took over. They're the better team. They have the better coach, better offensive coordinator, better defensive coordinator, better dietitian, honestly. That's head and shoulders. The University of Georgia is better than the University of Florida right now. Every part of their program appears to be better. And I not much to say. It just didn't look good for the University of Florida. What are your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I watched a little bit here and there. I was kind of just flipping it on, and switching it to another game. I forget what other game I was watching. It was the game on Fox this past Saturday. But anyway,
Utah, Oregon.
yes, I think that was the game on Fox. Yeah. I was flipping back and forth, and I was watching it with someone who is from Gainesville. It's been to multiple not Florida Georgia games, just Florida games. It's not doesn't consider himself a fan, but like kind of just ingrained in the culture a little bit. And I was just, and I forget what the score was, but Georgia was up big, and I was just like, we turned it on for maybe a couple seconds, and we were like, all right, that's all I need to know, and then turn it off.
Yeah. Yeah, you just move on.
You
There
just move
was
on.
one point where I think Georgia scored, Florida went 3 and out,
Mhm.
and on the ensuing punt, Georgia blocked the punt and recovered it in the end zone for a touchdown, or it rolled out of the back of the end zone for a safety. And that's when I turned it off. That's when I couldn't really handle it anymore. But I will say this. Going for it on fourth down in the third quarter is not a place that you want to be. Or really having
Right.
to go for it on fourth down at any point in the game. Not a place you want to be. I think Billy Napier psychs himself out sometimes and thinks, I have the play that nobody's ever thought of that I can run right now and pick up a first down. Because I had never seen it. I had never seen a center snap a ball through the quarterback's legs to the running back, ETN, in a wildcat formation, not to run, to make the line of gain, which was inches away, but to
I didn't
pass the
see
ball
that.
to Ricky Pearsall. Spoiler alert, he didn't get the pass off. He got sacked in the backfield on a 4th and 1 play. No, that was just, it was awful. I didn't think that was the play we needed to run then. I don't think that's a play that should ever be run again. It just, I don't know, not the best game. So I'll go ahead and move into a small little apology, I guess. If you
Small
follow
little.
us on Instagram and subscribe to us on YouTube, which I know a lot of you don't because we only have one subscriber on YouTube, but a lot of you are watching our clips, so it doesn't make sense. So go subscribe on YouTube. It is Peyton, by the way. We're not doing well on YouTube, but you guys love the clips over there, apparently. Here's what I'll say. I posted the short and the reel saying, Peyton, I think Florida has a shot here because Georgia could get off to a slow start, because Florida could take advantage of that and lose the game as we go. To Georgia fans, you are right in the comment section. Yeah, we only had one bullet, and it was anticipating you starting off slow. So I'm sorry that I got Florida fans maybe a little hyped up. Sorry to Georgia fans that I walked in there a little bit more arrogant for my own good. But walking forward, I'm not going to err on the side of arrogance when it comes to the University of Florida, and I'm going to err on the side of the glass is half empty.
Yeah.
Pessimism from here on out. The
Yeah.
University of Florida is playing, we're losing. That's where I'm going the rest of the year, and this game really beat it out of me.
Alex, I had people even down here come up to me and be like, "What was that clip that you
No way.
Was posted?" And I was
That's
like,
awful,
bro. I don't know, because like I think even in the clip, I'm like raising my eyebrows. I'm like, "There's no way you're saying this." Right
You're
now.
like, no way it's happening right now. Yeah, so that clip happened. We're not deleting it because we're all about accountability here. I'll own that.
Yep.
I said it. I shouldn't have. I'm sorry to everybody, but to the comment section again, I saw you guys posting the score. Believe I know what the score is. I have ESPN. I went and looked. Okay, I don't need you to tell me. I know I was in the wrong, but I will say sorry to you guys. So let's go ahead and move from one apology to another because I got a couple on the list today that I gotta.
Let's just knock them out today. Let's go.
Yeah, let's just knock them out as we go. To Notre Dame fans, I've already apologized to you guys once this year, and I'm gonna go ahead and have to apologize to you guys again because you played the University of Pittsburgh, and I said Pitt gives good teams a hard time late in the year when they need to win the most. And I said, you know what? For the sake of your eyes just crossed so far
Yes,
when you were looking at that fuss on your hat. I can't move on after seeing your eyes crossed like that. Peyton, you were looking 2 different spots at the same time. That's awful. I didn't know they could cross that bad. Okay. Anyway, back to it. Apologizing to Notre Dame fans because I may have said that Pitt has a shot to win this game. Clearly, they didn't. Notre Dame went ahead, won that game. But as I said in the last apology to Notre Dame fans, I'm going to go ahead and say again, I don't care. You're not making the college football playoff. Next year, sure, we can talk about it, but I'm probably at that point still saying no. We knocked out both apologies. Do you have anything to add to Florida, Georgia, or Pitt versus Notre Dame, or any of my apologies?
Man, just like you were saying, like this shows all that accountability, so I'm all for it. So, and the other thing I think I'd add as well, like the Notre Dame game surprised me. Like, the final score was what, 57-7.
Hey,
Like,
careful now. Careful. You're going to have to issue an apology.
no, I
You
know,
go
but
far
like,
enough into that.
I know, but like, it surprised me, but at the same time, like we saw it when they played USC. Like we saw like them just get hot at the right time, and that's kind of what it was. That's kind of what was happening, I think, in this game too. I didn't watch any of it, but I was just like, I remember looking at the score and being like, "Wow!" Like I'm surprised,
Yeah.
and Alex is gonna have to say another apology. So
yeah,
I was surprised.
there you go.
Mhm.
That's probably my third or fourth apology so far. In the past, we have teased a When We Were Wrong segment, and we actually had a friend of ours who's a listener of the show text us and say, please do the When We Were Wrong segment. And I said, sure, we'll do it in the future, but we're not doing it now because it turns into a When Alex Was Wrong segment as it stands right now. I am frequently wrong. I
Yeah.
will be wrong in the future. Maybe I have to consider moving forward with a When Alex Was Wrong segment.
Mm.
And Peyton, that could just be you bringing up receipts and me
Honestly.
apologizing as we go through them. Okay,
Maybe.
that's what we'll do. Sounds good. Oregon versus Utah. Let's go ahead and get into this one. 35-6 the final score, just 2 field goals for Utah. I picked Oregon to win this because they're a solidified team, I think, at this point. Even with the one loss, it was to Washington.
Oh, Knicks.
And Utah is without Cam Rising. They're operating with their second and third string quarterbacks right now, as the depth chart was set originally this year. And to be honest, I did expect more than just 2 measly field goals for Utah.
Yeah.
I didn't expect this beat down, but I mean, to you, did Oregon look exceptionally strong, or was Utah just that weak?
Yeah, Oregon, I think all year has proven to be like exceptionally strong, even with under the helm of Bo Nix. I mean, I think he had 3 total touchdowns. Yeah, so 2 passing and 1 rushing. Like they're looking scary, and if they didn't have that game against Washington, and they were just like going about their schedule, like definitely top 4 for me. Like Oregon's a good team. And like it had been a while, I think, since we've seen Oregon be at the top. I think maybe the last time was probably the Mariota days. So I'm finally glad to see Oregon be back up with the top dogs again. And we'll see. I mean, if they win out this season, if they win their conference game, we could very well be seeing them in the top 4. But I mean, we got to like go through like whole different other scenarios in regards to that. But like, yeah, just again, Oregon is just proving themselves to be one of the top dogs again, and I am here for it. So
yeah, I'm all about it. Obviously, they lose that one game against Washington, but it's not like they got blown out. Like they lost a very close game to a very good team. Like if a team ever deserved to lose a game and move up in the rankings, I thought it was Oregon after that. But here they are. Back half of the year, the rest of their schedule looks like they can take care of it. Only real test, I think, is Oregon State or Oklahoma State. I mix those two up so frequently, but based on where they are, I would guess it's Oregon State.
Oregon State, yeah.
I think they can breeze through that. I think they can get through that easily. I can't remember if the Pac-12 has a championship game. If they do, I think Washington is the only team that really stands in their way from making it into the college football playoff.
What about Colorado?
Winner, Peyton, absolutely not. We jumped onto that train so early and so soon.
Oh, I know.
And
I know.
if you've stuck with us through that, thank you.
Yeah.
If you're new to the show, don't go back and listen to it because you're going to think less of us.
Yeah.
Outside of Washington, the only other real Pac-12 threat right now is Oregon. Winner of the Pac-12 between those two teams is going to the college football playoff. I think both have put together a good enough year. I don't want it to be a case of 2 one-loss teams get in. But honestly, as strong as they've both looked, at this point in the year, if Oregon wins against Washington and another close game comes down to a last-second field goal or something like that, I don't think we could toss out the fact that Washington and Oregon could both make it with 1 loss this late in the year because Michigan and Ohio State are playing each other at the end of the year. One of them is going to have a loss. I don't know if a one-loss Ohio State is stronger than a one-loss Washington.
Mm.
Anyway, those rankings are coming out tomorrow, so if you
I
want
can't wait
more
to
on that,
decide for that on Thursday. That'd be
yeah,
great.
tune in Thursday because the committee is always signaling things based on
Mm.
where they're placing teams and
Yeah.
ranking them. So let's go ahead and move into a little bit of NFL talk here. We had the Jags and the Steelers play yesterday. I was able to watch most of the first half, which is where not a whole lot of action took place, I guess.
No.
I was talking to a couple Steeler fans afterwards, actually. They weren't all that thrilled. When I found out they were Steeler fans, I said, "Oh, that's too bad." And they kind of wore that. Like they said, "Yeah, unlucky us right now." So that's just where the Steeler frame of mind is. They're kind of down bad, I guess. I can't even begin to imagine what the next episode of What's Up Doc is going to have in store with Dan.
Yeah,
and
tune
Nick.
in with that. Tune in with that.
That is another therapy session. Nick is going to have to walk them through what it's like to play losing football every once in a while.
Yeah.
As bad as the Dolphins were not too long ago. But 20-10, the final score. It wasn't pretty. It was raining. Muddy
Majority.
game.
Yeah.
But we got the job done. I think at the end of the day, a win is a win. Do you have any thoughts about that? Like, did you want to see more? Do you think the margin was too close, not big enough?
Yeah, like you were saying, it was a wet, rainy thing. Wet and rainy day. I watched the whole game. Or I tried to anyway. We looked good. There were places where I think we still need some more work. I think just ETN running inside, I think, is like something that has been like so repetitive on this show. But you know what I want to see?
Hey, for what it's worth, like they were willing to attempt it. It seemed like this game.
Yeah,
and
like they were not afraid of it for sure.
Yeah, it was like 2 yards here, 4 yards here, 3 yards here. Not the 5 that you would like to see, but I thought we took a step in the right direction. We're not there yet, but we're getting there.
But you know what I want to see more of? Are you
what?
Gonna answer? Okay. I want to see more of Trevor Lawrence throwing it into triple coverage and having you think he can get it in there. That's what I want him to do. Like more.
You want to see more of that? Because that's actually. I wanted to address this actually because Trevor Lawrence, I think,
like why in triple coverage?
Great quarterback. Honestly,
he goes out of his way to throw an interception each and every game. He's like, no, I'm having a good game. You know, oh, there it is.
Yeah. No, I have actually had to convince myself to be at peace with this. I've had to convince myself, you know what? I bet it was rainy and the ball slipped out of his hand and he was trying to throw that away. Because that was the most obvious this ball is going to get intercepted throw I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was a ball that didn't even have a whole lot of mustard on it. It was floating into the end zone. It was behind the receiver. There was a guy behind our receiver, in front of our receiver, and next to the receiver. I can't count the amount of times ever that I've seen a ball float into the end zone and that's getting picked off. Like the ball, as it's going and the camera is following the ball into the end zone, I was able to count the amount of receivers and immediately recognize that's triple coverage. Why did he do that?
Yeah.
And so rightly, they intercept the ball. They attempted to run it out, thank goodness, because then they would have had the ball on the 20. But, I mean, hey, good quarterback for what it's worth. He's getting the job done this year. I've had to convince myself the ball slipped, and he was trying to throw that ball away. I didn't get it.
Hey, Steelers didn't look bad going into this game either. Like, they started to, like, kind of figure it out, too. They were 4-2 coming into this game. So I just want to point that out, too. Like, they were trying to maybe start to figure things out. They've still got a lot of things to figure out with Matt Canada, and I think it's what we're getting into here next. But, like, they weren't looking bad, but now they're 4-3.
I think in our preview of this game, we said their body of work is great. Like, if this were the college football playoff structure, you would see Pittsburgh somewhat ranked at this point because they've beaten the Ravens. I can't remember the rest of their schedule and body of work at this point. I think they beat the Browns or something like that. Anyway,
I'll look it up.
Body of work is impressive. That team is not. The coaching is not. I'm not trying to call out Tomlin. I think everybody knows I'm calling out Matt Canada here because George Pickens is on that team and he only had one reception. Like I don't get
Yeah,
that. I
I
don't
don't,
get
I don't get
how.
that either. I don't get that either.
I think conventional wisdom says force feed your star receiver the ball, and they're not doing that. So I also didn't expect Najee Harris to take a significant step back multiple years in a row, I guess. Anyway,
Yeah,
that team, they have some issues. They're working on it. For what it's worth, I thought this is a game possibly the Jags played down to the level of their competition in, but then they went ahead and got it done. They exceeded my
yeah,
expectation for the game by actually decidedly winning. Hats off to the defense.
yeah,
Not a difficult offense to stop, I guess, for all intents and purposes, because
yeah,
it's Matt Canada and Mitch Trubisky for the most part,
yeah.
and Kenny
Kenny
Pickett.
Pickett
So,
in that first half, and then he got hurt.
yeah, but they didn't play down to the level of competition. They kind of played up to it,
Mm-hmm.
and they delivered. So 20-10, Jags win.
Yep.
Let's move on to next week. I'm feeling okay about it.
Yeah, me too.
Who we got
We have
next? Is
well,
it week
we have
9?
a bye week. We have a bye week next week, and then we got
That's
the
right.
49ers.
Yeah, I've been gatekeeping Evan Engram from my fantasy league, and I'm anticipating trading him or Hawkinson as soon as Week 9 is over.
Yeah.
With the injury to Kirk Cousins, this is a great segue. I
Mm.
think I could get away with trading Hawkinson for a diminished return and holding on to Engram, knowing that he doesn't have a bye week at any point the rest of the year, and Hawkinson does somewhere in like Week 13, but. Vikings beat the Packers 24-10 in that one.
Yeah.
You hate to see it, man.
Yeah.
Big fan of Kirk Cousins. I know we give him a hard time about not being able to get it done in prime time, and there's a difference between 1 p.m. Kirk Cousins and primetime Kirk Cousins, and not a guy that loves the limelight. Apparently, when he's out there playing, you want to see the guy succeed. I mean, I started to like the guy even more after watching the quarterback series
Yeah, I think
on
we all did.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Torn Achilles. They're working on confirming it today, but it is extremely likely he is done for the year.
Yep.
And I think I already had the opinion of Kirk either goes out a winner or they fall short of winning it all and Kirk retires, because this is a contract year for him, and I think he's done next year either way. It's kind of what I was thinking, because that quarterback series kind of seemed to indicate that his body is starting to break down. He's starting to feel Sundays more and more. So, torn Achilles, out for the year. Do you think we see him on a football field again? That's a big question.
It's a big question. Yeah. No, I think I think you're right. What we saw from the quarterback series, just like he's got two baby boys too. That he's so like there's the family side of everything, and he wants to spend more time with them. And it looks like he's been spending time with them. At this when the Twins and who are the Twins playing? The Twins were playing this series.
Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays.
Blue Jays.
So they went to those games, and they're just having a blast. Yeah, Kirk has a lot of thinking to do. I think this might be the last time we may see him. I hope it isn't, though. I just want to see him probably just one last time, whether he's in a mentor role on another team or anything like that. But yeah, it's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad.
You talk about comeback player of the year. I think if he makes it back from this and plays next year in any capacity, automatically he wins that award. But I think it's it. I don't see how somebody who has the worldview that he does, has the kids at home like he does, and like because here's what I see happening moving forward from here is, he has the torn Achilles, he does the surgery, he starts rehab and everything. At that point, he's not necessarily expected, I don't think, to be in the building every day like he normally is. I think there's a decent possibility that he falls in love with the ability to stay home and be around his family. And being the guy that he is, it's kind of a foregone conclusion in my head. I think Kirk is done. I hate it though. I want to see more of him. Don't want him to be done. But I think he is, and I think Vikings fans need to start preparing themselves for moving on forward in this, moving on past that. We're going to get into options that they have here in a little bit. But first, I do want to touch upon the Dallas versus Rams game as we move on. 43-20, the final score there. It looked like Dallas was week 1 and week 3 Dallas again.
Yeah.
Did you watch any of that game?
No, because I saw how far out in front that they were. Then I was just like, all right, Dallas has this game, and if they don't, then Rams complete the biggest comeback of all time. Which I was like, that's not out of question either, because we are talking about the Cowboys after all. So no, but CeeDee Lamb put in a great performance. I think 12 receptions for over 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. Helped me in fantasy a
Yeah.
lot, by the way. I think he scored me like 41 points for this week, so it was great. Yeah, looked like it was a good showing for him. Dak also put under the spotlight again, and he showed out once more. I think he had three tutties for 3 tutties and 1 interception. So I think overall a good game for them. And what's going on with the Rams, man? Like
I know. That great
after
team a couple years ago, and
after that
it's
Super Bowl
just
run,
been
it's
nothing.
just So makes you wonder what Matthew Stafford is going to be, where he's going to be. He's going to retire. He's going to try to stick it out with the Rams until his career's done, or they move on with another quarterback there in Los Angeles. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So I want to do some meta analysis, I guess, here with the Dallas Cowboys, like a big picture view.
Yeah.
Because we're right back to them being in the middle of the media spotlight. Everybody's talking about Dallas again after this big win. I haven't heard the outrageous take of Dallas is going to the Super Bowl. We dem boys haven't heard any of that yet,
Yeah.
and I'm okay with that. You don't have to start any of that.
Right.
Because I've seen this Dallas before. This is the same Dallas that lost to the Cardinals. Okay.
Yep.
I've seen the good defense Dallas pound Pee Wee football Giants and then lose to the Cardinals. You have the Eagles this upcoming week. If you want me to even remotely consider buying into the fact that Dallas is a good football team, you got to go do something against the Eagles. I'm not even saying win the game. I'm saying don't implode.
Right.
Figure it out in the red zone. I think you kind of have, dishing the ball out to CD, using Tony Pollard, although his carries or his yards per carry has gone down considerably this year. But you got Philly this upcoming week. Go and do something against that.
Yeah, the Eagles look good against the Commanders this week. I think final score of that one was like 38-33. I saw like a couple of clips from that game. I think they're starting to figure it out on the offensive side, which is good for them. This is what they needed to have happen. The offensive line seems to be getting things in check. And while it was a close game, I think they really showed like, hey, we finally figured it out on offense, guys. So there's no more news outlets, no more media talking about this anymore. We got it, and rightfully so. They got it done, and took the game. So
yeah. And I think another game that we had previewed and were interested in was Cincinnati and the 49ers.
Yeah.
And Cincinnati did come away with a win in that one. I'm sitting over here trying to figure out what is going on with the 49ers to have started out as great as they have and to have lost 3 straight. Trying to figure out what exactly has changed there. But to Cincinnati's credit, they got it done against a very good team. Yeah. And now they're on the positive side. They're above 500 now, and I don't see them looking back anytime soon. And I know that this year was a big year for them just because of the schedule. The schedule makers were not necessarily kind to Cincinnati.
Right.
So in some preview news, the NFL trade deadline is tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. And the trade deadline for the NFL, obviously a lot different from Major League Baseball. It feels like every team in Major League Baseball is involved. And it always feels like maybe there are 1 or 2 trades in the NFL trade deadline or around that time, if not during the offseason. So the Titans have apparently been listening to offers for Derrick Henry, although they are not eager to move him. The Bills, Lions, Eagles, Ravens, Falcons, Saints are all considered buyers. Like they're all kind of interested in adding to their depth, not necessarily running back depth, but I mean, hey, picture this. DeAndre Swift hasn't finished a year healthy, hasn't played an entire season. Say the Eagles go out and add Derrick Henry. Running back by committee, you got DeAndre Swift, Derrick Henry in the backfield. All of a sudden, the tush push is Derrick Henry taking the ball from under center.
Yeah.
As legal or illegal you think it actually is.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, of the teams, what team do you think Derrick Henry adds the most to? What team do you think suddenly becomes unstoppable and extremely scary if they were to add Derrick Henry?
The Lions, man. The Lions at Derrick Henry with as studded of an offense as they have, and how great they have looked year in, week in and week out. You
Hadn't been
add,
that long. They've been good
yeah,
ones.
they've been good ones. Yeah, but if you add Derrick Henry into a running game and a check down game with how big he is, I've seen that. I've seen that man live when he was playing when the Jags were playing the Titans a couple years ago, and he's
Mhm.
as tall as these linemen, and I'm just like, eh. So the Lions, I think, for me, and the Eagles obviously as well. Now that you say
Yeah,
it, tush push with whether you think
but
it's illegal or not, but yeah,
I don't think we can discount the Bills' need for it. Because cold weather
yeah.
in Buffalo,
Ooh,
suddenly Josh Allen doesn't pass as well. And I don't know if that's necessarily true according to statistics, but if you can save yourself from having to alter your entire game plan by adding Derrick Henry and running your same offense,
yeah,
suddenly that's very scary. And you're telling me that Derrick Henry in the backfield, uh, running a read option with Lamar Jackson isn't going to send shivers down the spines of the defense, then you're
yeah,
crazy.
mhm,
Because I think him being added to most any of these teams, not the Saints because they already have their guy in Kamara and they're
yeah,
kind of falling apart. Not the Falcons because I don't think they're in a position to succeed. They're not doing the right things over there.
yeah.
They had a running back try to throw a pass to an offensive lineman while asking Kyle Pitts to block. They don't know what they're doing.
All right.
In other trading news, as we move on from the Derrick Henry conversation, the Vikings are in desperate need of a quarterback. Their guy right now is Jaron Hall. Do they go out and sign a guy at a free agency, or do they go out and trade for a guy,
That's true.
pick
Yeah,
up somebody from another team?
yeah,
I'm going to throw 4 names at you. You let me
yeah.
know which one you think is the best fit, and let me know which one you think is most likely. And if you think of a different name that's most likely or the best fit, you just let me know. But these are the
Yeah.
4 that I came up with: Ryan Tannehill, Trey Lance, Carson Wentz, and Justin Fields.
That's good. Yeah, Tannehill comes to mind, and just like replacing that role, because I think what we saw. Can we talk about Will Levis this past weekend? Um, 4 touchdowns, 200 something plus yards, like absolutely showed out.
Yeah,
Obviously,
and
like throwing it to DeAndre Hopkins for 3 touchdowns, but like that's
well,
his
he's
debut,
doing
and
what needed to be done. If
and
you're a quarterback,
yeah,
a young quarterback, throwing it to D Hop is what you do.
right.
But also, like that game, as awesome
Screw it,
as he
D-Hop
was,
is down there somewhere.
yeah, that's exactly what he did, multiple
Yeah,
occasions, and it worked out
right.
for him, obviously.
Yeah,
Okay, but with that game, I had a bigger uh, issue with and had a harder time getting past the Tennessee Titans wearing the Oilers uniforms than I
yeah,
had uh, Will Levis starting and
mhm,
succeeding.
yeah.
Had
No,
a
he
harder
did
time
well.
with that because I thought that should have stayed with Houston and the
Mhm,
Texans. Like, I think Houston should be wearing the Oiler throwback,
Oilers.
not Tennessee.
Yeah,
But anyway, I digress. Will Levis got it done, but
yeah.
Tannehill, obviously, you think
But
is
then,
a
yeah, I
good
think you move
option for the
Tannehill, and
Vikings.
then Levis stays there, and like he continues to have success there, and I think like he's set with the Titans. Um, yeah. So Tannehill looks good. I mean, we've always said that um, Fields is done with the Bears. Like, there's no hope. There's no hope there. Like
No,
the Bears need to have something go their way. So that
they have
that means
operated
yeah.
without Justin Fields the last couple of games, and the rest of the roster has kind of proven that they are also not capable of getting it done.
Right. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, if you move Fields in a different place, that's totally not out of the question either. Trey Lance, he stayed in Dallas this year. I think it was like breaking news. I think before even the year even started, like Trey Lance moving to Dallas, and then like if Dak didn't get it done, then Trey Lance is going to be the guy. But I don't know. I mean, that's totally like those 4. I think that you placed there, even Carson Wentz as well. I think they're solid QBs. It's just a matter of out of those QBs, who do you think fits the offense well to have? Who fits the offense well to have? Jefferson out there, Hawkinson, Jordan Addison as well. I think that's his name, the
Yeah.
rookie wide receiver who's having a monster year. Um, just what quarterback out of those four? I think we need to ask that question. What quarterback out of those four fits the offensive scheme for the Vikings? I think is what we need to ask ourselves.
Yeah, I think that's a good question.
Yeah,
And I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah,
So,
I have
those
a hard
names
time
sound good,
finding.
and they're
Yeah,
solid QBs, but I mean, it's a lot of
yeah.
speed there.
I have a hard time thinking of a guy that not only fits their scheme but could help them win tomorrow, because that's what
Right.
they need.
Yeah.
They're not in a wait and see mode. Like, they know Kirk Cousins is done, but the roster is in win now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they really have any hope moving forward, other than feeding TJ Hawkinson the ball.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. Just my 2 cents. It's time for buy, sell, or hold. Let's do a little bit of that. So, buy, sell, or hold, we do this pretty much every episode. It's one of our favorite segments. It's kind of where I and the fans come up with outrageous takes for the most part that sound pretty good, and I pitch those to Peyton, and Peyton buys, sells, or holds, and then I buy, sell, or hold my own takes as well. So,
Yeah.
first one of the day. 2-loss LSU at number 13 in the AP Top 25 is a crime against humanity.
So let me take a look at these rankings real quick.
Yeah.
It's an absolute atrocity because you look at okay, how about this? Notre Dame is ranked above them, but they're 72.
Yeah.
That I think also is an atrocity as well. So I'll buy.
I've already had to apologize to Notre Dame fans. I'm not going to say anything else that's going to get me in trouble.
Yeah, I respect you for that. So, 12 and 13, I think, out of those. So I'll buy. Yeah, that's an atrocity.
I think it is as well, especially considering that there are other unbeaten or one-loss teams underneath them that I think have put together a better body of work. Like Missouri, of all teams, I think should be ranked higher than LSU at this point.
Yeah.
Number 2, buy, sell, or hold. Derrick Henry gets moved.
Man, I don't know. Gosh. I think he stays put. I'm a sell.
You think so?
I don't know. I think they can't find an offer good enough for Derrick Henry, and they just move on.
I think they have kind of proven that they are in not today, win tomorrow mode by starting Will Levis. And given how we have seen NFL running backs kind of have a ticking time on them, not a crazy lifespan in the NFL, I think they understand that they're towards the end of Derrick Henry's run. I'm not Max Kellerman saying Tom Brady's going to fall off a cliff. Okay. I'm not saying that. I'm saying an NFL running back isn't going to last in the league as long as they previously had. I think they kind of realize if there is value that they're going to get out of Derrick Henry, it's right now. So I will actually go ahead and buy the fact that Derrick Henry at the end gets moved. By 4 p.m. tomorrow, I think Derrick Henry gets traded.
Alrighty. Love that.
Third one of the day, buy, sell, or hold. Rob Manfred is the worst.
Man.
And so here, I'll explain why this is in here. This is in here because I think very clearly Major League Baseball has a playoff formatting problem. Just because I'm not anti Diamondbacks Rangers. It's great baseball. I'm enjoying watching it.
Yeah.
But I think the Atlanta Braves, the Baltimore Orioles, Tampa Bay Rays, Los Angeles Dodgers put together much better bodies of work over the course of the season, and I don't think they got rewarded much of anything for it. So I think that there is a playoff formatting problem, but he doesn't seem to think that there is, and he thinks that this new playoff format structure is better for the league because it's unpredictable, which is why I think just another reason why Rob Manfred is the worst. Buy, sell, or hold, I'm buying.
I'm buying as well. There's the playoff format, and there's a couple other things as well, but we won't get into that because I think we've already have in past episodes. So just let it go to show.
Yeah. All right. Buy, sell, or hold. No way this World Series doesn't take 7 games.
That's what I said at the beginning, bro. I think this series is something to be excited about and something to be something to look forward to. So you got these next 3 games. You got Game 3 tonight in Arizona. So you got these next 3 games in Arizona. we're going to see how that goes. Because what we said, I think, in that Philly series, Philly and Arizona, we thought that Philly was going to be able to take it and be able to celebrate in their pool. Um, does that happen for the Rangers, or do they split it there and they take it to Game 6 and Game 7 back in Texas? Man, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I
So
think
I'll
there's
buy
no
that.
way this doesn't take 7 games. I think we're seeing 7 games one way or another.
Yeah.
And that just brings us right into this World Series. We gotta talk about Game 1 and Game 2,
So good.
because
So
we
good.
got Game 3 tonight.
Yep.
I think this World Series has already lived up to the expectation that we kind of had for it, and
Yeah.
from here on out, it's just gonna exceed any expectation we had.
Yep.
So Game 1, let's go ahead and start right there. Zach Gallen, I thought he went out there, obviously a little rattled early on, but he kind of
Yeah.
settled in, started getting the job done. Pitcher on the other side, Nathan Eovaldi, I thought through 2 innings, he was basically unhittable. I didn't
Yeah.
think they had any shot. And then things kind of started, like Zach Gallen settled in, and Nathan Eovaldi kind of started to unravel a little bit as the game went on. I'm not
Yep.
saying that Nathan Eovaldi completely fell apart. He's suddenly not him. Like, we're going to see him again. If this goes 7 games
Oh,
like
yeah.
we think it will, we're seeing Nathan Eovaldi again. And I would be shocked if he doesn't live up to the expectation that time around. So,
Yeah.
obviously, we saw the pitchers a little rattled. One rattled and settled in. One settled in and then get rattled afterwards. Game 1 was an instant classic.
Oh, yeah.
We saw early scoring. We saw two teams kind of jumping out as soon as they could, doing
Yeah.
everything that they can to push runs across. And then obviously late. There's no way you can talk about Game 1 of the 2023 World Series without talking about Corey Seager and Adolis Garcia.
Yes. Bro.
Yeah.
I was watching the clip because I was watching it on the TV. I was like, "There's no way Corey Seager just tied it here." And was it the bottom of the ninth? Bottom of the ninth, he tied it.
Yeah, it was the ninth.
It was the ninth. Okay, so he tied it in the bottom of the ninth. And I saw the clip later on Instagram, and it was where it's the no broadcast audio, which I think that MLB should do something to where we can get the no broadcast audio.
Yeah,
in some
that
way,
should be a
shape,
streaming option.
That should be a streaming option for sure. I look back at that clip and I could audibly hear Corey Seager immediately scream as soon as the ball left his bat.
Right? And he's not an emotional dude, so
he
him
really is
doing
not.
that, obviously something happened.
Dude, I was like, inject it into my veins, and like it's a no doubt home run, 112 off the bat. Like met it like in the higher part of the zone. It just absolutely like just drove it, and I'm just like,
yeah, he
let's
barreled
go.
that thing.
Barreled it like nobody's business. But yeah, Corey Seager, dude, he's a dog. But
yeah, tied it in the ninth, and you start to wonder why, when this guy was a free agent, why weren't more people in on him?
Right, yeah.
Like, because I remember wondering, wow, Texas, okay, interesting. Like, I would have thought New York would have made a call, or LA would have done more to keep him. But
yeah, they got Marcus Semien and Corey Seager, and nobody else wanted him, basically.
In the same offseason. Yeah.
In the same offseason.
So, obviously, paying dividends right now. But Adolis Garcia in the 11th. I thought Game 1 was an instant classic. The call as well. The legend only grows, or something. Whatever he said, the legend grows. I thought that was beautiful.
Grows. Yeah.
Adolis Garcia clearly getting it done. I don't think there's really a whole lot more to say.
That pitch was in the inner half, and with straight power, he poked it over the right field fence. Because I saw that hit off the bat, and I was like, okay, that might have a shot, or that's either getting caught out in right field. And it kept going and going and going, and all of a sudden it's in the seats, and I'm like, I'm watching it here. I'm watching it here in my room. I'm looking at it like, all right, that's got a shot. Okay, yep, it's going, and I'm jumping up, and I'm like, let's go!
Yeah,
let's freaking go! Yeah.
It's just
Of course, it's Adolis, right? Like, of course, it's Adolis Garcia. Couldn't be anybody else. Even the catcher that they brought in on for a pinch hitter in place of John Heim. It was just like, it can't be this guy. I don't even know. Austin Hedges, I think his name is. Yeah. There's no way it was going to be him. It had to be a star. It either had to be Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, or the legend Adolis Garcia, as the call was made. But man, that was exciting.
Yeah, obviously an instant classic, and I think we're kind of seeing some concerns about the pitch clock kind of be tossed out the window because it seems like the players have a good enough grip on it. Like
Yeah,
baseball right now in its current form, especially with the World Series going on, is a great product. And I thought Game One only added to that. Like that's
yeah,
cherry on top. You give me a game time bomb in
mm,
the ninth and a walk off in the 11th, and the
yeah,
game took no more than 3 hours. Like beautiful. Let
yeah.
That's awesome.
That was Seawald's first blown save in the postseason as well. So
Yeah,
lots to look at
not
there as
something
well.
you see from him. Because I thought the Diamondbacks bullpen, for what it's worth, has been getting the job done. Obviously, you're
Mhm.
not here without a good bullpen playing these types of games. But
Right.
man, a little shocked that he kind of let that one slip. It looked like he pitched uh, Leody Taveras harder than he
Mhm.
pitched Corey Seager. Like I think Taveras was the one that he walked, and Corey Seager was the one that a fastball leaked back over the inside third of the plate, and
Yeah,
Corey Seager absolutely launched it. Like
yeah,
for him to have done what he did with that ball and react the way he did, you knew Corey Seager had an inkling as to what was coming, visualized success, and then
yeah.
did it.
Right.
So, game one, instant classic. Big fan of that. Game two, Merrill Kelly. And
Yeah.
that's all I have to say about that. I don't know who this guy is. Before this series, had no clue who he was. I think even when we were covering the Diamondbacks playing the Phillies, I was like, Merrill Kelly looks like he's had a solid year. Sorry, bro, I don't know who you are. Haven't watched much Diamondback baseball this year. We'll see what he can do. But
Yeah.
now that he's in the World Series, obviously I've seen him pitch at least once, and for what it's worth, he's gotten the job done.
Hmm.
But man, what a performance he put on in game two. He kind of neutralized that Rangers offense that we had kind of grown accustomed to scoring early and scoring fast.
Hmm. Yeah. Agreed. He got the
Yeah.
job done. Kind of kept it minimal until the seventh, and then everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just unraveled. I think that game was a lot closer than the score indicated, especially through the first 7 innings. The doors kind of came off there. We saw the one lone run for the Rangers up to that point be a home run that Mitch Garver hit.
Hmm.
And I don't understand how he hit that ball out for a home run. I think that only happens in the postseason
Hmm.
because in the interview that Ken Rosenthal did with Mitch Garver, he asked, "What were you looking for?" And he said, "Honestly, I was looking for a pitch up. Like I was trying to get a pitch up in the zone to do
Yeah.
something with." And he's like, I've never hit a ball that low or that inside for a home run ever in my career." And he kind of said this during the game, which I
Yeah.
thought was a great touch by Ken Rosenthal in Major League Baseball. It looked like it was a sinker, split finger, something that running in on Mitch Garver's hands. He pulls his hands inside, gets the
Yeah.
barrel to it, and pokes it over the fence. A great pitch, even better hitting, apparently.
Yeah.
Then they interview Merrill Kelly afterwards, and they were like, what did you think about Mitch Garver hitting that ball over? Like the pitch, like what was it? What were you executing? Like what were you doing with that? And Merrill Kelly was like, I actually thought that was a great pitch. Yeah, you're not wrong. It was a great
Yeah.
pitch, Merrill. It was just better hitting that one time. But
Hmm.
I think the story of game two was Merrill Kelly did what he needed to do. It was a fantastic performance. And the Rangers kind of waved the white flag a little bit by
Hmm.
sending Martin Perez out there to pitch multiple innings after the doors came off. They were kind of like, obviously, if we're getting back into this one, it's because our offense goes off, scores a lot of runs really quick. So we're just going to keep rolling Martin Perez out there to get us over the finish line here. Anything you want to add on to game two?
Surprised that it ended 9-1 and everything just unfolded for them, and they look like they gave up a little bit, which is not what you want to see, especially in the World Series. So hopefully this is game three, which we're getting ready to preview. That we just see them just going head to head and knocking heads with each other.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to watching these two, especially on the
Hmm.
pitcher's mound, kind of go at it. We got Scherzer and Brandon Pfaadt tonight.
Yeah.
Um, when I looked at things and I looked at projected lineups and who the pitcher is, I thought that this kind of favored the Diamondbacks to have a good game because what they did against Nathan Eovaldi is quite the accomplishment.
Yeah.
Obviously, Jordan Montgomery, a left-handed pitcher, their left-handed hitter, Corbin Carroll, that his lefty-righty splits not awesome.
Yeah.
Gosh, I think there's one other guy on their roster who's left-handed. I can't
Patel?
figure it out right now. No. It's Alec Thomas. Alec
Alec
Thomas
Thomas. Yeah.
is a better hitter against righties by 110 batting average points.
Wow.
Like his lefty-righty splits, it's an entire extra hit that he's
Yeah.
missing on lefties than he is righties. Max Scherzer, right-handed. I think this game favors the Diamondbacks, especially here in Game 3, because Max Scherzer's right-handed, and this lineup seems to be better suited to handle the right-handed pitcher. Now,
Yeah.
as we've seen in the past, I have been grossly wrong before, and I could be grossly wrong again. But
Right.
if I had to make a prediction right now for Game 3, I take the Diamondbacks.
Yeah. I agree with that
How do
too.
you feel about that? You're taking the Diamondbacks Game 3?
I think I'll take the I'll take Diamondbacks Game 3 for sure.
Yeah.
Especially
this,
in Arizona. Yeah, I feel like they got to take this one.
Yeah, but this Rangers lineup is very potent. They can definitely do what they want against any pitcher that they want to do it against. But we've seen them disappear before. Brandon Pfaadt, not a guy that I knew coming into the postseason, but since he's been contributing meaningful innings, suddenly I think, dang, this guy is a pretty good pitcher. He could be a mainstay piece in the Diamondback rotation for years to come because he's a young guy. The Diamondbacks offensively, they're a small ball team. I don't know how Max Scherzer's going to handle that.
Gotcha.
And I'm just talking about like fielding the ball, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because small ball hasn't been a big part of baseball for a while. Like it looked weird when Jordan Montgomery was coming off the mound to make a play. It looked weird when other relievers were doing the same. I think Dane Dunning even at one point had to do that. So small ball seems to be working for the D-backs, and I'm a fan of small ball. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I'm a fan of small ball. I'm loving just like just throw it out a bunt. We'll send the guy, and I mean we got outs to work with here, and we trust our guys. We trust our guys to get those meaningful hits, either like through the gap or something like that, or through the gap in the infield or in the gap in the outfield. So like just that amount of trust like goes a long way, and that just seems to what has been working. I think just this past postseason for them. So hey, if that's what it takes to win the game, then by all means, So
yeah. So obviously today's Monday and Game 3 is tonight.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Game 4.
Yeah.
Wednesday, Game 5. So by the time that we get to talk to you guys again, somebody could have won this thing.
Yeah.
If somebody wins by our next episode, who is it and why? If this game is over in 5, if it's over in 5, like I think we've both agreed that this is going 7. But if this series only took 5 games, who's the winner and why? I say Diamondbacks just because they're home.
I say Diamondbacks too because I literally just said that they were going to win tonight. So if they win tonight, they're already up 2-1, and then they got to win these next 2.
But it's going 7.
It's going 7 though. So
it's going
Diamondbacks,
7.
But it's going 7. If it's going 7, it's the Rangers.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Me too, man.
Just continuing to watch some good baseball because, I mean, granted, it's not the Braves versus the Orioles, not baseball's 2 winningest teams, but at the same time, I don't think this product is like any worse.
Not bad either. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm loving it. I also love the part of the postseason where suddenly I know the entire roster of a team I did not follow once during the regular seain.
Right, dude. It's so awesome.
I'm invested enough to find out where Lourdes Gurriel is hitting in the lineup. Like I gotta know where he is.
Yeah,
because I gotta know when I'm seeing the purple hair flying.
Yep, of course. Yeah.
But you hope that Evan Longoria can do it because he's waited so long to get back to the World Series since he did his rookie year against Philadelphia, and now he's back in. Like I want Texas to win, but I also want the Diamondbacks to win. I wish there were this happy medium where both teams could win, but I honestly think it comes down to Game 7.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Good teams going at it.
This isn't something that we had on our run sheet, but it's something that we ordinarily do on Mondays. So I'll go ahead and go first while you take a little bit of time to think about your best and worst of the week / weekend. My best of this previous weekend was the Jags proving that they could get it done even when the circumstances didn't lend itself to success. Like a rainy game Trevor Lawrence is hurt.
Mhm.
ETN is the runner, and he can only run outside. Kind of obviously lends itself to the Jags are losing, but they got it done and they won. So
Yeah.
that's my best of the week.
Yeah.
They pushed through. My worst of the week, and there are a lot of bad commercials out there right now.
So what's
Uh,
the bad commercial this time?
I don't think I'm going commercial this
Oh,
time.
okay.
I
Okay.
think, man, I think my worst of the week has to be that Florida Georgia game
Mm, yeah.
because I was expecting a lot more. I kind of knew deep down Georgia was winning, but I
Mm,
expected a lot more fight out of Florida in that game. So if I
yeah.
had to choose a worst of the week, I think I'm going right there.
Yeah. My best of the week, I think, is just game one of the World Series. Just a lot that it had to offer, a lot of expectations that were met. I mean, when you have George W. Bush, the former president, go out there,
Right?
make that ceremonial first pitch to Pudge Rodriguez, legendary Pudge Rodriguez. Like just the vibes in Texas were immaculate game one. So and it lived up to it. So yeah, that's my best of the week. My worst of the week. Let's see. They're still throwing stat lines for Taylor Swift on CBS, and it's kind of annoying, and I want to stop.
I'm over it.
And I'm over it. And another worst of the week, kind of off topic a little bit, but legendary actor Matthew Perry passed away this weekend,
Yeah,
as we
that's
all
rough.
saw on the news. So it was really rough. And rest in peace to that boy. And thanks for being a friend.
Yeah. That hit a little too close to home right
Yeah,
there
my man.
because now I'm feeling that all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunate to see that happen.
Yeah.
Thoughts and prayers obviously out to his family and friends and everybody
Mhm.
close to him.
Yeah.
But on that note, this
Yeah.
is Diamonds and Hashmarks. We will see you again on Thursday. Hopefully, we don't have a World Series winner
Hopefully.
by that
We
point
won
in
game
time.
7.
Hopefully not. Yeah,
Yeah.
but for the final time today, here on DNH, I am the host and producer, Alex Pichardo.
And I'm the co-host, Peyton Richardo. You dig? We'll see you later.